Hello, topic of this session is go to market strategies. You have everything done, meaning you have developed a product that has been validated by customer. Now you are all set to start manufacturing and marketing, but then it is not going to be just as simple as saying. So there are many a slip between the cup and the lips. So many companies, they have wonderful products, but then they fail on go to market strategy. Is very important, because you may have everything right, but then still if you do not achieve success, that is going to cost you everything. So obviously go to market strategies actually will guarantee, means if you have the right strategy, it is almost like guarantees that there will be success. So today's topic is, once you are ready with customer validation product, what next? How to acquire and grow customer base, and how go to market strategy is actually helping big companies, successful companies to achieve success. We will start with an example. It is already known during my marketing session or maybe market research, we discussed about Warby Parker. It is a eyeglass company, and if you remember, they did not have such a wonderful product, so to speak. They had a problem, they identified a problem. That problem was that sunglasses were highly costly, because there was one company called Luxottica, which was monopolizing the market. They have a top brand like Ray-Bans, like many others, which are normally regarded as a top brand. So just for the brand, they do not actually manufacture, they outsource from elsewhere, but they sell at a premium. Just for the brand it sells, and one pair of glass will be something like $800, $900 in US and other parts of Europe, whereas the manufacturing cost is less than $100. So 4 boys in an university, American business school, they thought it should not be like that. There should be a way to really sell cheaper sunglasses. But then when a company has something like 60 to 80% market share, they are the leader, they are occupying a very strong space in people's mind. It is very difficult to dislodge them from people's mind. People normally do not understand quality of eyewear. What they understand is, if this sunglass belongs to this brand, I am assured of the quality, and the brand itself gives high esteem. So it is very difficult to push a cheaper product and acquire market share in the face of this kind of a competition, where there are big names, global names like that, and they are regarded as the who's who of eyewear, particularly and they have a high image, high esteem in customers' mind. But then they did something, and that something is related to go to market strategy. Of course, it happened quite accidentally, it was not well planned, but because it happened, so we got the cue, we got the clue as to how a small startup can actually execute or implement a wonderful go to market strategy, why it is and how it is. They were not even ready with the product and with their website, but then one of the faculty members had a acquaintance in the Vogue magazine, a journalist in a Vogue magazine, and he just put across a word that, can you bring out an article in such a wonderful magazine? And he said, why not? So with little bit of blowing up, rather, he brought out an article with the heading that it is the Netflix of eyewear, and then people attached so much of respect, so much of trust on that headline and the whole story, that the day this article hit the newsstand, the same day they launched their website. It was launched because the article was coming on that day. They were ill prepared, they are not at all prepared to come prepared to launch the product on that particular day, but then they got the message that the article is coming on that day. So, they somehow conjured up a portal and then went ahead. what happened is, in the first day itself or maybe within a few hours, they received more orders than they can cater to, because their model was different. Their model was like eyewear or sunglasses will be sent home to the customer, multiple pairs of that, and customers will have an opportunity to test and then choose out of maybe 3. So, they did not have so much of a stock that a customer will be logging in and ordering for a pair. If they cannot deliver in time, then they are going to earn a bad name, which they did not want to risk. So, they were actually ill prepared, and in a hurry they forgot to put the banner that we are out of stock or something. So, eventually they had to kind of stop further ordering through some artificial method. So, it became such a first of all wonderful thing, and second of all it became a kind of a bother later. But then this story is the dream of any startup. You are planning for a product, and in the first day itself, in fact, they made their entire years of sale, first years of sale, in a few weeks time. So, if it will be a dream comes true for any entrepreneur, and everything that is responsible for that success is the go to market strategy, happened by chance. Let us move forward. Most of the slides will be kind of repetition, because marketing and go to market strategy is just an extension. And as I said, go to market strategy can never be overemphasized. Whatever much you say, it is less, meaning people can talk more about it, because this will or guarantee success, this can guarantee failure if done wrongly. So, just bear with me for repetition. I have changed the graphics a little bit, just so as to make things less monotonous. Now, first thing is, for anything, whether Warby Parker or for any product for that matter, first question is who our customers are. So, that question comes even before we develop a product, because we develop a product to satisfy or alleviate a customer's pain. So, first thing that we try to know is who our customers are, and that is precisely the market segment. Once we decide that these are our customers, then we try to know our customers better and better, so that we understand their pain and we can customize a product that perfectly fulfills the aspirations of the customers, and it can alleviate completely the customer's pain, rather it can give some surprise premium to that or bonuses to that. So, that customers think that I did not expect this, and this is a wonderful thing that this product has this feature. So, customer understanding who are the customer, how to reach them, what should be our channel. So, that channel for creating awareness, channel for advertisement, channel for delivery. So, channel has many connotations, and then where to sell, online or retail store or home door to door sales. There are many models of selling. Then how to distribute, if it is retail store, will there be a distributor, if it is online, what kind of logistics we are going to follow, how to deliver, service and support, very important. Service and support also is as important as go to market, or maybe a very important element of go to market, because once you acquire a customer, he or she purchases your product, and he or she is so happy that product is good, because it is a perfect product market fit. But then there is some trouble at some point of time, and the company receives a telephone, or maybe there is no telephone number, or the number is not traceable. The customer will be so frustrated that he or she not only will not come back, but will spread a negative word of mouth, and then acquiring new customers is going to be so very difficult. So, service and support is equally important. In fact, there are many stories where the products are not so good, but the service is so good that people are forgiving about the quality of the product. They are happy that if there is a trouble, there is a person to troubleshoot. There are many companies who sell their product almost free, but then the service and for servicing they take money and people do not bother about it. Now, the same old wine in the new bottle. So, this is what is marketing channel or customer's channel through which a customer travels. So, we call it a customer's journey. At the beginning, they are kind of suspect whether they really belong to our segment, they really have the demand, they really think that our product is a must have product or is it a nice to have a product. So, they start their journey, then they become kind of aware about the product and then they become a prospect. So, we try to make them aware more about the product, what are the different features, why is it superior compared to whatever is available with the competitors, and then how our product is going to satisfy them better price wise, quality, efficacy wise. So, we create awareness. Then with this and with several other reviews that they see on online and elsewhere or maybe through word of mouth, they become interested, they try to understand more about the product and try to check whether they really like that. So, company now try to engage with them by maybe telling a story or maybe giving another advertisement or through social media or through many other systems they can engage with a prospect at this level. Then the customer would like to kind of give a trial or maybe the company wants to send them a kind of a free sample with something, maybe with a collaborator. Suppose you are selling say something like say body soap. So, maybe you can tag along with a company who are selling maybe detergent or say toothpaste or something. So, that you give a free sample and then they give a trial and they think that this is good. So, I need to buy this, then they make some call to action, maybe you just tell them that why do not you register, so that we can tell you better than tell you more about our product. So, they log in or they kind of sign in and then make the purchase and be satisfied. So, they become our repeat customer. Now, I will bypass many of the slides because these are all repetition, but very important thing is go to market strategy is the SWOT analysis. What are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, then what opportunity is you have in front of you, and then at the same time what are the threats. If you understand them well, then formulating a nice go to market strategy or successful go to market strategy may be good. These may sound like obvious or naive or it is not, you may feel that why we are discussing this, but take my word, most people make mistakes and most people think that we know everything and then they commit the same mistake. Like if I say product market fit in front of maybe 1000 people, 90% of the people will say everybody knows it, why you are talking about it. But then if you remember Iridium, the company who launched 66 satellite spending $6 billion for offering anywhere communication, telecommunication facility, only to become bankrupt within 6 months of their launch. And this company was promoted by the who's who of corporate world in US. Motorola was the technology provider. One of the co-founder of Motorola was one of the co-founders in this company. And why they failed? Because they did not understand or they did not bother to examine a product market fit, whereas it is talked everywhere and it is talked so much that it looks like repetition and people get bored about the moment you pronounce product market fit, you say what nonsense, you have been talking about it for so many times. Similar is SWOT analysis. You may think that I know, but most of the people do not know. Means even if they know, they need to be pointed. So, strength, what do you mean by strength? Strength means every company, every co-founder or every team of co-founders have something very strong. it may be a weak team, it may be a weak product, it may be everything may be weak, but there will be something which is top of the world, which they have some strength. They should know that, they should identify, and they should exploit that part more than anything else. That is going to sell, that is going to give them the unique selling proposition. Suppose you have a team who are very good in, say, aesthetics. You are a technology team, but you are not good in tech, you are not good in product, but you are good in aesthetics. So, focus on that part more than anything else. At least that will attract some customers, and then if you can fill the gap with some expert hire, maybe expert employees, perhaps your product will be at least at par with the competitors. Now, you have better aesthetics. So, that is your unique competency. So, you will be able to compete, you will be able to win over the competition with that small thing, whereas aesthetics may not be such a wonderful differentiator for many things, but it may be a wonderful differentiator for many other things. So, you need to understand what your strengths are. So, what do you do better than others? What is unique with you, what your customers want from you over and over again, and you know it and you can give it. So, that is your strength. If you know, even if somebody, I was talking about aesthetics, suppose you do not have anything for that matter, but you know what customers regard the best. Suppose you know that customer regards after sales service the best. Now, you do not have to have expertise to provide good customer service. You can always plan and execute. You can strategize, you can hire people and put them in a way that any time customer has a complaint, there is somebody to talk to them. So, knowing customer better can be a strength. Now, which tools you have to accomplish better than others? All these included. Weaknesses. As I said, every team will have one strength. Similarly, every team is likely to have more than one weaknesses, at least one. One can never be perfect, startup can never be perfect. So, there will be many weaknesses. You have to identify the weaknesses and remain careful, have an eye over that weaknesses and try to see that you are not putting your leg in that quicksand, or else you are gone. Do you lack critical resource, or is your value proposition weak? Do you have a high cost structure, or wherever is the knowledge gap? So, everything together you have to be careful what your weaknesses are. Opportunities can be many, particularly suppose your product is something that is, say, relevant during a festive season. So, identify that season and try to launch your product in that particular time, so that you kind of you cross the escape velocity and you achieve so much growth at the beginning itself, that you do not have to look back, just move forward with growth. So, what are these opportunities you have to identify? Are you working on a new technology that other people are not? Is your value proposition superior? Is there a good demand supply gap? Do you enjoy pricing power, meaning you have something like say IP, intellectual property right, say patent or something, or copyright, or what is that you can define as an opportunity that you can exploit to create value for customers, and eventually you can create value for yourself. Is it a niche market? Niche market meaning that it's a very it's a kind of a market segment where the pain is acute, and you can have a product that can just cater to this small segment of the people, and there are very few people trying to solve that problem. So, that's your niche market, you cater there, almost like you have a monopoly there. So, is it a niche market or is it a blue ocean market? Blue ocean market means you have identified a pain that other people thought does not exist, but you have, even customer may not think that way. So, you have identified a pain and have a product, and you are selling that product to the customer. There is no competition. That is what is blue ocean market. If that is the case, then there are challenges, there are opportunities. Challenges is that initially people will have aversion to adopt a new technology. So, you have to identify who are the early adopters or innovator kind of customer, early adopters. Then moving from early adopters to early majority is going to be arduous. So, you have to have the perfect go to market strategy to acquire customer at that place. Then there are threats. So, there are kind of areas where suddenly some trouble may crop up. Those are the threats, like your competitors do something better. Now, they are okay, they are competing with you and you are neck to neck, but because they are better in something, suddenly they will accentuate that part and then perhaps they will win the game. So, that is a threat you should always expect. Like if you have something very strong, that is your strength, you can exploit that to win. Similarly, competitors also may have. Are there exogenous factors like say government policies, say export import, foreign exchange rate fluctuation, or things like that, anything, maybe some Chinese company opens shop here and sells at a lower price. Are competitors offering technologies that is ahead of you, etc., etc. So, go to market actually sits at in between your initial product idea when you assess the market, then you decide about product positioning. Positioning is nothing but you either you understand the customer's pain so well that you can identify the differentiator, and then you can make a product which will cater to exactly the same pain that the customer has. So, that is the differentiator. Maybe you can tell a story or a message likely to reach this group, like a story that will resonate with your customer, and either way it is positioning, and then there will be customer and you sell a product, customer becomes so excited, they get wonderful experience, and then you have the customer comes back again and again. So, this part is again the old story saying again. Now, who are you selling to and how you move forward? First thing is market segment. Who are your customers and what will the value? That is a segment. Then size of the segment being targeted. Size meaning what is the market size, what is the growth potential, that depends on that will determine your possible first year's turnover and moving forward. For a blue ocean market, identify early adopters, otherwise it will be difficult to reach out to everybody, like say late majority will never buy. So, you will have a wrong philosophy, wrong idea. Can you price competitively? What is the price point? Meaning, are you targeting the premium price, middle price, or the low price segment of the market? How you are going to reach out? What is the logistic? Then how can you make buying pleasure? Meaning, how can you give customer a buying experience, nice buying experience? Product differentiation, how your product is different compared to your competitors. Same thing said differently. There are 7 steps to formulate go to market strategy. I will not repeat them, you can pause and read, just understand the same thing, but with a different flavor altogether. Now, these are the stages of go to market. You do the market analysis, then select the market. So, you select a small segment, then marketing mix, you decide what should be the product mix, and then start acquiring customers. So, I will move forward, time is short. Customers are central, same thing said differently. Segment, then define buyer's profile, build the story that resonates with buyer's persona, help buyers to complete the journey from being a prospect to take action, so that their hesitation to buy is gone. Now, just like we are trying to entice the customer into our fold and then move them forward, translate them into a customer. Similarly, there is something called buyer's journey. So, buyers also try to evaluate the product, then they consider, and then finally, they take the action to buy. So, read them. Now, we need to be highly focused. Focus is the term. We need to focus on customers' requirement, focus on the logistic, focus on everything. So, focus direction is very, very important. The specific use case, like suppose you are selling, say, eyeglasses. So, that has a kind of a different use case, whereas suppose you think of say Dropbox. Dewey Houston founded Dropbox. He has a different story altogether. So, these are two different use cases. He used YouTube channel for go to market strategy, where they use a different strategy for Warby Parker used a very different strategy. So, one size does not fit all. So, we have to be very focused about, we have to understand and clearly understand the buyer's persona, their profile, so that we can decide as to where to start our go to market strategy. Launching a product, it is like public announcement, like Warby Parker, they launched a product. The day they launched, it came to the newspaper, the magazine. So, there was an announcement. It can be like that. Suppose it is not Warby Parker, suppose you are launching a book or say a newspaper or something. So, you cannot really just advertise and launch it today. You have to really prepare enormously, maybe for 6 months, maybe for a book, maybe a month or so, maybe on Sundays an article will appear in a particular column, where somebody will write about the review. So, there are preparations necessary for launching any product. For newspaper it will be different, for a book it will be different, for another product will be absolutely different. So, depending on the product is going to be different. It needs huge research and preparation to execute it well. Ideally, you expect yourselves to shoot up like a rocket, and then very soon it should reach escape velocity, so that you do not have to really look back and slog to achieve a small growth. So, what are really important for great launch? Timing, you need influencer, you need some customers who will be evangelists, they will talk to other customers. Then you have to give a pre-brief, you have to use social media for messaging, so that you create an awareness even before the product is available. And you have to show, not tell. Show means you have a video or you have YouTube video or something given somewhere, just a story is not going to help. Cross functional readiness, meaning suppose you are selling something and that depends on another product. Suppose you are selling say CD player. Now, the music industry is related to this or some other industry is related to this. So, you have to prepare cross. Suppose you are selling cell phone, then what kind of now micro SIM is available or mini SIM is available, nano SIM available, depending on all of that you have to design. So, you have to prepare the cross functional areas. Now, go to market strategy encompasses many things like market segmentation, we have already discussed. So, I will bypass this slide, even this one. This is told by big people, great men, Friedman to be precise. Very few organizations understand their customers in enough depth to create powerful and winning go to market strategies. They think they do, but they actually do not do. So, whatever many times you talk about it, is not, you are not oversaying it. Go to market strategy is you need to understand what a market is. A market may be defined as a set of actual and potential customers for a given set of products or services who have a common set of needs or wants and who reference each other when making a buy decision. I will not read the other part. This is marketing definition, I will not cover there. Brand is like a container, we have talked about it. It contains the trust, it contains the value, it is a method of communication or it is a media of communication. You communicate to the customers that you are trustable, you maintain what kind of quality, what kind of pricing, what kind of trust customers can bestow on you, etc. Brand has enormous value. It takes 20 years to build a reputation, 5 minutes to crush it. So, one should be very careful about maintaining the brand. We talked about public relation, we talked about Warby Parker. What Warby Parker did, that was public relations. So, public relation is so very important, and that is how Warby Parker started by 4 graduates. And look at, if you remember my first slide, a professor said that Warby Parker approached to me in 2009, and I said I declined their proposition, and that was the greatest mistake I did in finances, because that became a $2 billion company very soon. In 2018, it was something like $2 billion company. From 2009 to 2018, the company started in 2010. So, 8 years to be precise. Advertisement, it is almost like public relation. Here thing is that you are paying money, and whatever you are saying, people will take it through a prism, like prism of mistrust. They will think that this is what you want them to know, not really what the product is. So, that is precisely the difference. So, we talked about Dollar Shaving Club, and there were there was hardly any strength in the proposition, because shaving blade, nobody were using that blade anymore, but then he found a huge stock somewhere which was a nuisance, and he translated a nuisance into a valuable $1 billion business just by right go to market strategy. What was that? He just put a YouTube video and a business strategy. Of course, that business strategy was more important than the go to market strategy, because he offered blades for $1 for an entire 1 month requirement, and then put that in YouTube. Within 48 hours 12,000 people signed up. That was the strength. Look what Dubin has to say. People tend to remember things when they are musically presented, and look at Dubin's video, you will understand that it is actually musically presented. Dropbox, same story. Nobody was interested in file sharing app or file sharing companies. No investors wanted to invest, but when Drew Houston actually built that and showed it in a YouTube video, how it is different compared to any other, how it is superior compared to any other file sharing system. The login actually increased from 5,000, it jumped to 75,000 in no time, and the business was successful. What do you learn? Biggest risk is making something no one wants. If you make something and nobody wants to buy, whatever go to market strategy you make, not going to help. You must make nice thing, make big noise before launch, like Warby Parker. Spend some money on advertisement. Don't try to acquire customer with $3,000. You will never recover that money in the lifetime. Drew explains, a person hears about Dropbox from a friend or blog, and then tries it. He is pleasantly surprised. Then he tells another friend, they also use it, pleasantly surprised, and the chain goes on and on and on. You have to, particularly during product launch, this is integral part of go to market strategy. You have to remunerate, or you have to give incentives to people to become evangelist. Like I buy something, you tell me that if you refer it to somebody, and if that somebody purchase our product, both his account as well as your account will be credited with this money. That is called two-sided incentives. So, there may be one-sided, two-sided, there may be various kinds of incentives. This is not within the scope of this class, but know that there are incentives, and unless you give incentives, incentives are call to action. So, you call to action through incentives. This is the book that you can read on go to market strategy, and I took few lines as quotation. Thank you very much.